Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have a Knight of Swords. Okay, this is a Libra energy. This is somebody who is really kind of like trying to map out the future, right? I feel like you're somebody that is kind of looking ahead and trying to come up with like a timeline, trying to make good decisions now that will put you on the right course, the right trajectory, right? I feel like you have, like you're kind of in the middle of trying to figure out a plan for the future, okay? Trying to figure out like the step-by-step kind of the course that you need to take to get somewhere. I don't know where you're going yet. But this is, in a way, this is that card of discernment, okay? Trying to make the absolute very best decisions that we can make right now in order to kind of like to make progress on our path. Okay, this is, it may be indicating that there is I kind of feel like there's a surprise like message coming in for you. Okay, I almost feel like there's something there's like an email that's traveling through the ether now on its way to you. Okay, that there's some kind of a surprise communication that's arriving. Okay. Let's see what's going on with this card. We need context with this one, okay? Let's see what the plan is that you're trying to formulate. And because it implies that we're kind of having trouble like seeing our way through something. That we're trying to come up with a plan, but it's like every like scenario that we run, we're just like, no, that wouldn't work. And so maybe that you're feeling a little stuck right now. Okay. Let's do more cards. Ah, yes. Magician. So definitely a message. This is a messenger kind of energy. Okay. We have an Eight of Swords, makes sense. But we have an Empress. We have a Prince of Pentacles. We have a Five of Wands. Okay. A little bit of resistance going forward. But a wonderful, I almost feel like there's a transaction pending here. Okay. Let's keep going. I got an idea here. We have a Three of Pentacles. Yes, yep. We have a Prince of Cups. We have the Art or Temperance card. This is a Taurus power card, by the way. We have a Two of Swords. So, Taurus power card, that is a card that represents the Taurus energy in action, okay? So this is you as the builder. This is you trying to construct something. I feel that there are right now some kind of like money worries, okay? What I kind of feel is happening is that there's maybe like a financial opportunity that is connected to something that you've created, some kind of like this is your hobby, this is like a craft or like something that you're doing on the side. And I feel that there's kind of a surprise, almost like a gift or like a payment or like a commission coming in. And I feel like somebody's approaching you and they want to either purchase something that you've made or they want to commission you to create another one or something like that. Or somebody gives you like a gift because of something that you've already already created. Maybe it's like a donation, okay? But it's somebody that like values your talent, yeah? And I think what that's allowing is for a little bit of an easing of the money issues, right? You're going to get a little bit of breathing room. And I think that you're going to then be inspired to really like focus on your creativity. And this might be kind of like a permissions. This might be the sort of the permission slip you need to to kind of turn whatever this hobby or skill or this craft or this side thing, kind of turn it into more of a business. Okay? Because there's kind of like a resistance to that. And I think that you're somebody that like doesn't really want to get paid for that kind of art stuff. It's almost like it's too sacred to really be sold. But I think you're realizing that there needs to be no guilt or apology about that. That you should get compensated for what you create. Okay? Because sometimes the Empress is just creating out of the goodness of their heart. I do this because I love it. I'm the one that's putting in blood, sweat, and tears into this project. You know, I'm the one that's giving to this, and it's kind of like the Empress isn't always good at receiving. You see? So I feel like somebody's kind of saying, hey, I'll buy that from you. And you're like, oh, geez, I don't know, you know? But I think that you're realizing that that's the way it should work, that you should get compensated for what you're doing. And I almost wonder if this now is going to become something that's going to be more of a moneymaker for you. Because I feel like you're getting some room to breathe in your financial situation, okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Dwight K. Schrute right there on top. We will not look at those Bears, Beats, or Battlestar Galacticas until the very end. It will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments section down beneath the video. All right? Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3 major arcana energies. Okay? We see, of course, that Empress, which is your creation. It's your creative energy. It's you kind of like, you know, holding something sacred and giving your energy to it in order to make it, you know, to grow it or to nourish it or to allow it to thrive. Okay? We have the Magician here, which can be a lot of things. This is going to be a message. This is going to be a transaction. This has something to do with finances. Okay? This has something to do with your strategy for your life. Okay? And kind of like the wisdom and the revelation of the plan. And of course, we have the Temperance card, which is, I think, trying to blend together. In this case, it feels like we're blending together like art and business. You know, we're realizing that your creativity doesn't have to be separate from how you make money. I feel like the builder here, this is kind of like, you know, this is someone who is earning money. This is someone who's making it work. You're building up your financial situation, okay? But right now I feel like there's a difficulty. I feel like there's a confusion. There's just kind of like there's something in the way. And no matter what plan we come up with, we can't seem to really solve the problem. It's kind of like there's not enough money in the budget to do this. So it's like there's really, how do you do that? You can't it's like Michael Scott saying, let's crunch the numbers. And the accountant says, we crunched them. There's nothing there. And then Michael Scott says, well, crunch them again, you know. And the guy just hits the button and says, crunch. And it doesn't change the outcome on the other side of the equal sign, right? So I feel like you're in a situation now where there is some kind of, you know, tight money situation. And no matter how many times you run the numbers, it just doesn't add up. Okay. So we have, you know, that's kind of really the goal that we're reaching for. But there is this, it's kind of like we keep looping back in on the same issues, the same problems. You know, no matter how many times we crunch the numbers, they kind of just say the same thing again. Yeah. We got fire. This is maybe a creative fire. This is ambition. Okay, this is you. This is the 5-fingered hand kind of reaching out and doing the thing, putting a plan into motion, really. You got water. And I think the water is here because you do have this artist inside of you, okay, that wants its authenticity and wants to express itself, but then there's this other part of you that says we should be getting paid for it. So we have a prince and a prince. And this is your artistic side, your emotional side, that sacred energy that you're kind of channeling through you. And this is the one that's like, we got to pay the bills, we got stuff to do, we've got goals, we've got ambitions, we're going places, you know. So I feel like it's kind of a blending of these two energies together. You know, of course, you have your air, and your earth cards. Okay. With the Magician here, I do feel, well, with these two cards together, I think somebody's coming in with an offer for you. And I think it's connected to that to the Empress, to the skill, the craft, the side project, or like, you know, whatever you are kind of doing that I don't think you really considered it a way to make money, or like, you know, it's not necessarily like you're already creating like these candles and you're just like, now you suddenly get the idea, oh, I'll put them on Etsy or something. No, I feel like it's a skill or a talent that you have. It's something that you're already kind of doing. And now there's some kind of an offer or an invitation or even a suggestion about how you can kind of parlay that into some extra income. So it's kind of like turning it into a side hustle. I feel like somebody's coming to you and saying, hey, I really like your tomato gravy, right? Or tomato sauce, we call it gravy. Kind of like your gravy. Maybe, can I buy some of that from you? And you're thinking, my gravy? You want to buy my gravy? You know, and then it's kind of like you get that light bulb idea. You know, that Magician energy comes in and says, I know, I'll make a bunch of gravy and I'll sell my gravy. Or whatever it is, I don't know. Maybe it's candles. Maybe it's tarot readings. Maybe it is, you know, altar tools. Maybe it is art, a painting, maybe, whatever it could be. But I feel like somebody's coming to you with a gift, kind of saying like, wow, that was awesome, here's some money. And that kind of like gives you a little bit of breathing room, and you're saying, hey, okay, there might be something here. So the Magician gets that great idea, says, I know. I'm going to whip up a big batch of this gravy, and I'm going to bottle it, and I'm going to sell it. So I kind of feel like you're getting that business ambition kind of thing going. Because like I said, the Magician it's a message, it's a transmission, it is a strategy for life, it is like a great idea, it's wisdom, it's commerce, okay? Mercury is all of those things. And I think in this case, it really is somebody, and they might be an air sign person, it might be a Libra person really, that is kind of coming in and saying, I want to pay you for that. Whether it's commissioning you to do something like that for them, to make another one, or to buy something that you've already made or produced or cooked. And that kind of gives you the idea, well, okay, maybe other people will want one too. And that's when you kind of move forward with your five of wands, and you start reaching out into life, and you start like getting the labels, and you start getting like the laminating machine and the whatever it is. You're going to start bedazzling, Levi's or something, yeah. And so you get that kind of entrepreneurial spirit in you. And I think the Magician is now realizing that the solution to your woes, the plan that we've been trying to establish here that's been so difficult to do, really requires a little bit of magic, right? And I think that your magic is being inspired by this, maybe an air sign person. I feel like maybe it's an older male Libra, but you know, it could be anybody. I think that's kind of giving you the inspiration, and it's kind of giving you that secret key to your magic that you've been missing. So I feel like you're in store for some bigger money and abundance kind of energy in your life. Yeah. The Eight of Swords underneath is that sort of confusion. This is rumination. This is like we're stewing. We're pacing the same circle in the living room carpet, pacing a groove in the living room, right? Because we're just like, we're stewing on everything. I don't know what to do. No matter how many times I recalculate the budget, the number it spits out kind of is like warning, warning, warning. You know, it's like there's just not enough. Okay, so maybe you got bills that are coming up, or there's certain expenses, or you're realizing that your budget isn't balanced. And so at the end of the month, there's a deficit. Okay? And it's kind of saying this can't really continue on this way. And there's no way for you to rearrange the numbers, you know, to make it work. because like maybe you're in like a spreadsheet or you're doing your budget or something, and it's just those are the numbers, okay? And so it feels like an impossible sort of situation. No matter how much you calculate, no matter how you try to move things around and rearrange things, it just doesn't work. And so the figure 8, right? We just keep looping back into the same conclusion. No matter how far out we go, eventually that energy comes back. And we just think, nope, same result. Let me go way far out there and let me change all these numbers. Let me rearrange all these other things and all these bills and all these other expenses. And then it just loops back in and kind of spits out the same answer again. That's how it's been feeling. No matter how far out you go, it loops back in to the same place, okay? The Empress in the background, this is that creative energy of yours. This is something that you have been kind of, sitting on, incubating for a long time, okay? This is something that you know how to do, and it might just be like your hobby. Maybe this is like your knitting or your quilting, or this is like you make a really, really good lemonade or something, right? And then it's kind of, it didn't dawn on you before, I guess, to sort of parlay that into something entrepreneurial, okay? But I feel like this is part of your dilemma, because this is something that's sacred. And it's like, I don't know if I want to sell my tomato sauce or whatever, or maybe you're like I don't know, maybe you're someone who does canning or something like that. And it's kind of like, well, you never thought about doing that, and you kind of don't want, there's part of you that doesn't want to. And I think really it's about the authenticity, or it kind of feels like it's a betrayal, or it's kind of sacrilegious to sell what you're doing. I think that, the conclusion that you're coming to is that what would be unethical is for you to not have a solution and not get some breathing room in your finances when there is an opportunity for you to do so, and if you were to say no to it. Okay? I feel like you're saying yes. I feel like there's a little bit of resistance, or there's a little bit of like you need to give yourself permission to do it. Because I think once you do, you're going to see that it really is absolutely rewarding, and it's really like, to me, it feels like a very holy thing. You're able to use your kind of like God-given gift or talent, right, in order to help to support your life and your family's life and to sustain your existence. And to me, that is like the ultimate blending together of heaven and earth. That is a beautiful and holy thing. Okay? But I understand there are some people that say, no, you know what? Money is the root of all evil. Money is my job. That's it. But my real passion and my real art is something that I do at home. I keep it sacred. Nobody looks at it. Nobody's going to buy it from me because it's not for sale. It's priceless, right? It's priceless, yeah. And I agree with that. But I also think when you are in an kind of unwinnable situation, I think that you're going to do what you need to do. And I think that the realization that comes through that is that there is nothing wrong with you canning your creativity and selling it on Etsy, or making it into a YouTube video, or opening up a lemonade stand, or starting a little farmer's market kind of business or something like that. Okay, that maybe someday it'll become the main gig, but I think for now, to have it be kind of the side gig is really wonderful. Okay, I think that's exactly what you need right now. The Prince of Pentacles is trying to build a life. This is the builder energy. This is your superpower card again, right? And I think that this is the motivation or the intention. Okay, this is the inspiration for you to build something in your life. And it's so, I don't know, like maybe this is like you really want to like add on to the house, or you really want to like to produce a movie or something, right? Or produce some kind of musical album, or I don't know, whatever you're doing. You have goals, right? You have goals that cost money. And I think things are really tight right now, that there's no way to do it. It's just not in the budget. I think that you're realizing you have a lot of skills and talents that you could package and present to the world in some way and be compensated for that. And so in a way, maybe what you're doing here is finding a way to fund your bigger life goals through doing these side projects and these other odds and ends, these other jobs and these other side hustles. Okay, it's like you're taking on these other projects because they're going to make some money that you can then fund the bigger project with. Okay, I kind of feel there's some of that energy in there. But the Prince of Pentacles is really trying to build, is focusing on the kind of the money issues right now in the present moment. This is the reality. Right now, there's not enough of it. Okay, but I think I feel like it's kind of this air sign person that's coming in, and they're going to approach you with a gift or an offer or some kind of they're gonna want to purchase something from you like that, right? And that's going to give you that great idea of how to push forward. It's going to give you that entrepreneurial spirit that's saying, I know what I can do. I know how I can make some money, whether it's to just kind of fund your general life, or if it's to do something above and beyond the basics, right? So I think that this isn't so much like survival level. I think this is something extra that's going to allow you to experience some real joy and not just having to worry about baseline survival. Okay? So it's kind of like you're taking on more work, but it's going to allow you to bring in a lot more joy and satisfaction. Okay? Because it's funding the extra, the higher kind of goal for you. The Five of Wands is the five-fingered hand. It's reaching out into the universe, and it's doing something. It's making a difference. It's having an impact. It's putting something together. So I feel like the Magician is kind of packaging things and like, yeah, let's sell it. Let's make some money. Let's make a few bucks with it. Whatever, and I don't know what your talent or your skill is. Maybe it's something to do with computers. Maybe you're going to start making apps. Maybe you're going to start making YouTube videos. Whatever it is. Okay, maybe it's the lemonade or the Sunday gravy. And I really hope it's a YouTube channel. If it is, please let me know. Well, let me know what it is anyway. Yeah, I would really love to hear your story. But this is that ambition that's saying, I'm ready to work hard and turn this into something that's going to provide. Maybe you're trying to save up for a vacation, right? But the money's just not there. Maybe you need a new car. The money's just not there. This is you putting in the work, investing your time, effort, energy, maybe some money and space into something that's going to generate that extra income that you need. Okay? And I think it's creating more and more abundance in your life. Now, I want you to claim this reading. Hit the like button if this is resonating with you already. Okay? Leave me a comment. Let me know if this is your reading. Okay? And big shout out to everybody that is so encouraging in the comments. I love it that we support each other in this community, and we are kind of like we're rallying and we're rooting for each other, and that really feels beautiful. Some of us don't have a lot of people in our lives supporting us. Okay, so it's important that we do that every opportunity we get to encourage somebody and support somebody. Take advantage of that opportunity because you don't know who else they have in their life. Maybe your support is like the only support that someone's going to get in a day. Okay. Anyway, Path of the Serpent. We're starting with our Three of Pentacles. This is a card of work. Okay. This is literally the card of you starting kind of, a business, taking a good idea and starting to create something that's going to generate some money. Okay, this is you understanding the process of creation on the physical plane. In other words, you know how to make money. And this is you doing that work. This is a Mars and Capricorn kind of energy. It is the push. It is the force and the fire. It's that ambition that's pushing ahead, in order to create something. Okay, so this is like you're sitting down, you're making the candle, or you're at the stove, you got your apron on, you got your wooden spoon, and you're making the Sunday gravy. You're doing the work. Okay, you're getting the fruit, you're, I don't know, boiling it. I don't know what you do, adding in the gelatin or something, or the pectin, and you're making the jam, and you're canning that stuff, and you're putting your label on it, and that's, you're doing it. You have this kind of hardworking entrepreneurial spirit, and it may just need to be summoned out of you. Maybe not. Maybe this is already there. You're just kind of like, you're trying to figure out the idea, like, how can I make some money? I think somebody's coming to you with some money in their hand and saying, hey, can I get one of those? And you're saying, what, this? Okay. And that's going to be your ticket. That's going to be your key. Like, oh, okay, this. Yeah, maybe you're making tamales. I don't know. I hope so. I'm hungry. But this is your general energy. And this is just kind of hardworking, kind of cranking them out and getting it done, because you understand now what it is you have to do. It's just a matter of doing it. Okay, so this is bringing a lot more abundance into your life. Now, with the Prince of Cups in the environment, this is that authentic energy of yours. In terms of your relationships and your environment, it's very important that you stay authentic. This is what people are buying. And it feels weird, okay? Feels weird to get paid for being your authentic self. So it's basically saying, if you're doing a YouTube video or you're making your Sunday gravy, don't change your nature because you think that's what people are going to want. No, people want that gravy that they tasted at your house last fall or whatever. That's the one they want. So then it's like, someone says, can I get that? Can I get your Sunday gravy? And then you say, okay. And then you change the recipe, and then you do it differently because you're trying to give somebody like a professional, product or something. And that's not what people want from you. Okay? People are not really buying the product. People are buying you. And that sounds weird. And that's kind of where there's kind of like this disconnect. It's like, wait a minute, no, I'm not for sale. My authenticity is not for sale. Right. But the realization here is that what people really want from you is you. They want that authenticity. If you're doing a YouTube video, if you're making a product, you're making candles, you're doing, I don't know, maybe you're doing tarot readings, or you're doing creating some kind of altar pieces for people on Etsy or something, or it's a garden that you're growing, it's a food that you're making. You have to do it the way you do it. Don't change the way you act. Like the way I am in these videos, this is how I kind of am all the time, if you can believe it. And maybe it's annoying, I don't know. But this, to me, feels authentic. Because I'm sitting in a room by myself. I can talk how I want to talk. I can say the things I want to say. And that's me, If you enter into this and you try to polish yourself up, or you try to kind of change your nature into something that is more like marketable, no, people are going to know. People are going to see that, okay? So you got to make your Sunday gravy the way you would make it. And that's why these readings, when I do these readings, that's why they are how they are, because this is how I read tarot. I've tried to read like other readers at other channels here on this platform. I've tried to read the way they read, and I can't do it. I don't know how. It's not me. It's not my nature, okay? And maybe it's not for everybody. I wish it was. I wish I could get like 1 million subscribers and 1 billion views, but I'd rather be authentic because I can't be any other way. It doesn't work for me. I don't know how, okay? And that's something that you need to stay consistent with too, whatever this is for you. You're not selling out. You're not compromising your authenticity. You're staying true to yourself. And what you're doing is finding a way to make your true artistic voice, your true nature, your inner truth, your authentic self. You're learning how to manifest that and how to kind of, employ that to bring more abundance into your life. And that is a very magical and spiritual thing. The magic here is taking your inner voice, your inner truth, your authentic self, and transmitting it out to the earth. And you deserve to be compensated for that. Okay? And that's exactly what you're doing now. The Sagittarius card up here the art or temperance card, in the position of the fear, worry, and concern. Well, if this is your art, it's very tempting to try to make art that more people will buy. But the catch-22 is that if you try to change the way you do your art so that it appeals to more people and you can sell more and make more money, people are going to see that inauthenticity and they're not going to buy it. So you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot. And that probably hurts. I've never done it, but it probably hurts. So your art is the sacred thing. You don't want to compromise who you are. You don't want to change who you are. Okay? You're trying to take who you are and what you do, the way you do it, and find a way to transmit it out to more people. Okay? And the fact that you're going to get paid for that is kind of a bonus. But maybe this is born out of necessity. Okay? Which I think it is, very similar to my own story. I wouldn't be here on YouTube right now if my wife and I weren't having some financial trouble, let's say, and kind of a worry about how we were going to survive. Okay? And I said, I want to start doing, I want to start doing YouTube videos. I feel like, maybe I can make a couple dollars on YouTube. That'll help us pay the bills. Okay? And I don't know if that sounds unethical, if that sounds wrong. I don't feel like it does at all. I've been reading tarot for, I'm going to date myself here, but I've been reading tarot for at least 20 years, say 25 years probably. But I got my very first tarot deck, which I still have, sitting over here. In fact, I sometimes use it. It's right here. It's this little pocket-sized Thoth deck that I have. That deck is 24 years old. Probably, yeah, 24 years. I got it in 2001, Santa Cruz, California. But the point is that to find a way to then manifest that skill, talent, that creativity, that essence, that authentic you, to find a way to manifest that into your life and give it to the world in a way that's also going to support you and help you survive and put food on the table and keep the lights on is a blessed, blessed thing. And it is a holy, holy thing. Now, the problem arises when you start changing who you are just for the sake of the money. Okay? Like if you're trying to do things a certain way so that it makes more money, that's going to be a problem. Now, that's not to say that the thumbnails, the titles, the fact that I have bright lights on, I typically don't read tarot with bright lights shining in my face. These are things that I do just so it's more presentable. Okay? And that stuff I think is obvious, right? That's a given. You're going to have to do stuff like that. The magician is kind of the one that's, it's the persona card also, right? So this is kind of like, you're going to have to package whatever you're doing in a way that other people can receive it. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're changing the essence. You're packaging your authenticity in a way that it can be transmitted to other people. And you're going to be compensated for that, and that compensation is coming at a great time in your life because you need it. Okay? And now the Two of Swords is really the end of the line here, is the decision. What does your heart tell you? Okay? This isn't a calculated decision. The Two of Swords is not about the decision you're making, but how you make decisions in your life. Do you calculate it? I think you've been calculating, and you haven't been able to really find the answer. I think now it's kind of like, now it comes down to trust. See that little crescent moon at the top there? Trusting the intuition. What does your heart tell you? What does your gut tell you? I think that you might be worried that this is like selling out, or it's corrupting your authentic art, your talent or whatever. That you're exploiting your God-given gift for a few dollars or something like that. Silly. What does your heart tell you? What does your gut tell you? That's how you're going to make the decision here. Because I feel like your gut tells you, You need the income. And, you know, what is the resistance to earning a living, or at least getting some kind of supplemental income from transmitting your authentic self out into the world? I kind of feel like it's something you're doing anyway. Why not get paid for it? Okay? Because then you get paid for it, then you can keep doing it. See, if I didn't get paid for doing the YouTube videos, okay, that's not a lot, it keeps the lights on. Then if I wasn't doing this, I would have to do something else, which means I would be here less and less and less and less, okay? Before I started the YouTube channel, I would read tarot for maybe like a half an hour or an hour every day. If I could, if life was kind of going smoothly, then maybe I could sit down for like a half hour, you know, a few times a week and do a spread. You know, and meditate on the cards and kind of, you know, and read for myself or friends or something. But now I'm able to do it 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Okay. And I feel like something like this is happening for you. That it's going to, it's like you're giving yourself that permission slip to receive that abundance with no guilt and no apology. Okay. And this is an unexpected commission or gift or payout or something that's going to give you that confirmation that says, hey, I can make money doing this. That's cool. You know? And for me, that moment, when I first started doing kind of public tarot readings, what I would do is I'd go on Reddit and I would ask people, you know, if they want like a free reading. I would do a few cards and I would just kind of type out their reading and I'd post it for them, or I'd send it to them in a chat, you know. And a few people said, yeah, I have a question about this or that, career, love life. And I'd read the cards and I would take a picture of the spread and then I would type out my interpretation and I'd send it to them. And then someone, I can't remember, I wish I remembered the name of the first person that actually like said, hey, where can I donate to you? And I didn't have a PayPal or anything. So I said, I don't know, this was free. I don't know how to collect money. And then that's when I first said, I think it was Cash App, the first thing that I did. Cash App should really sponsor the channel, shouldn't they? And then someone sent me $5 on Cash App, and I said, wow. I said, people actually would pay to hear what I have to say about these cards. That's pretty cool. Okay. And well, the rest is history, as they say. Let's look at the mystery card. I feel like you're in a very similar position right now. Okay. This is giving you some breathing room in your finances, and you may be able to really continue to build and grow this thing and turn it into your main gig. Okay. The mystery card that we have over here, it's probably going to be another Empress, probably going to be some Pentacles, maybe a 6, maybe a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles, maybe the Wheel of Fortune, maybe an Ace. If you have a prediction, though, Magic Maker, put it in the comments down below. I want you to claim your role as a Magic Maker in the comments. We got the Magician, and you are the Magician. You are the Magic Maker. It's time for you to make the magic. Time for you to make it happen. Okay? The proof of your ability as a Magic Maker is in what you manifest. You want to manifest abundance. That's what you're doing now. You got to give yourself permission to do that. Magic works. Okay? And a shout out to anybody that has gotten one of those Reddit readings from me. If you're one of those people, let me know. I did a few of them 3.5 years ago now. Okay? Right before I started the channel. Because that's when I said, hey, you know what? Maybe I can do something on YouTube and more people can see it and I can kind of start a little business or something, right? Make a few extra dollars. My wife and I had just had our kid, right? Our daughter was a year old and money was tight and we were in kind of one of those holy moly moments that something's got to happen here, you know? And, you know, we manifested it. All right. So let's look at the mystery card. Three of Cups, celebration. To me, this is perfect. This is kind of like, this is almost like that moment when you start a business and this is like the first dollar you make. You know how people like frame the first dollar and they put it on the wall? This is that moment for you. This is that moment that's kind of like, wow, this is going to solve our problems. This is going to give us, at least at first, the breathing room. But then we can really kind of turn this into something bigger. This is a celebration. This is a big hug. This is abundance. To me, this feels like physical, financial abundance. Yeah. Celebration. And I feel like it's something, I feel like there's kind of like a family vibe. Like, I don't know if this is you and like your immediate family and there's just the money's tight. This is a little extra joy too. Like I said, with the Knight of Pentacles, maybe trying to build something that is a little bit above just basic survival. This is like you're breaking out the good china. This is like you're treating yourself to like, a fancy bottle of water here, right? So it's above just bare minimum basic level survival. This is the extra in life. This is the joy, right? And so easing the tension of these money woes is allowing you to experience more joy and not just survival. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link right below the video here. Okay. New readings for Taurus Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Let's get the number up to 1 million, yeah? Let's do it. Let's do it. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. Let me know where we can find your work once you get your YouTube channel or your Etsy or your website going. Let us know where we can make a purchase, okay? I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.